Welcome to the Dementialand Serial Podcast, a story for everyone who knows someone living in or near Dementialand. My name is Suzka, and this is my story. Episode 16, A Match Made in Heaven.
Your father's going to be so excited when I tell him I passed my driver's test. Did you hear me? Suzka, your father. I'm talking about your father.
I'm hearing you, Mom. I mean, Violet. I don't understand how this happened, but I'm hearing you. The cemetery where my father was buried was only 15 minutes away from the DMV, the place where all common sense had lost its way. The words she passed, spoken by a driver's examiner for this country, still rang in my head. Violet did the driving. She understood all the traffic lights, and that was good. She just didn't pay any attention to them. She was driving now on prideful confidence. A large virgin queen, who could be seen for miles, met us at the entry with open arms. On each side were 12-foot-high cast-iron gates with pattern of loops and twists and gold leafing. At night, the gates closed the cemetery, keeping the rowdy souls inside. My mother turned into the entrance without much assistance from the car's brakes. The gates leaned to one side, making room for her wide turn. A tarred road squirmed its way through thousands of headstones that popped out of the ground in no particular order. The older ones leaned tiredly to one side. Specks of colors surfaced here and there from fresh wreaths and small plants. Stone angels with visionless eyes and large tufted wings dominated the grounds. A few of the smaller angels sat on the tops of grave markers with their heads held in their hands. But it was the virgins and the saints that stood on pillars who watched the goings-on at the cemetery. Scattered between the sainted markers were tiny unfurnished houses with gold doors. Behind the doors, whole families slept forever in one tiny room. Cemeteries are places where spectacular creatures of legends live. They feed the earth during the day, and at night they dress themselves in leaves and dance in the moon's light. When the moon is finished, the dead simply lie down, pull the earth over their bones, and gaze at the remaining stars. Restless souls who cannot sleep during the night often pass by the daytime visitors in a whiff of rich air and smells of honeysuckle. We passed Agnes and Otis, the graves of my father's parents, without stopping. My mother offered a quick wave, not expecting one in return, and not turning her head for a second to catch the illusion of their acknowledgement. She lifted her hand off the steering wheel to push her sunglasses closer to the bifocals that were underneath. The car swerved and veered in the direction of her pointed finger.
Look, over there. Do you see that procession? Someone's gonna be buried today. It looked like he's important. Not politician important, mind you. There's not enough cars for that. You count the cars, Suzka. I can't. I'm driving.
Violet's hand ran the sign of a cross over her face without the slightest thought of its religious intent. Oh, shit, what in the hell was that? Mom, get back on the road. I felt the sound through my feet. I twisted my neck as far back over my shoulder and looked out the window. A blizzard of tiny white lavender and red flower petals flew around the air. Oh my God, I think you rolled over a grave, Mom, and one of those flowered wreaths.
Oh, don't be silly. If I did, they should have never put those wreaths in the street in the first place.
She attempted to look out her window at a side mirror, but the mirror was in no condition to show her the damages she left behind. It was hanging off the car by a glob of wires and torn duct tape, remnants from a toll booth incident. The toll booth slammed into my mother's car the summer before I moved in with her.
Just sit back and relax. I've been driving since I've been 12.
I dare not say anything. I was just grateful that everyone she ran over was already dead.
Do you see your father anywhere? He's around here someplace.
Mom, I thought you knew where he was.
Well, I do, but they're always moving everybody all around here. I hate it when they do that. It confuses people.
The car stopped. Violet stared out the windshield. Her eyes squinted in the sunlight, trying to remember. She moved her head from side to side, squishing everything in front of her together, trying to make sense of it all. There weren't any road signs, and even if there were, it wouldn't have made a difference. She still wouldn't know. Mom! Her eyes were blank, filled with a blindness like the stone angels. Sweat water covered the steering wheel. Mom, are you okay? Thousands of angels looked at us, waiting for something to happen. Her fist dug into the steering wheel. She barely moved a muscle, in fear of being exposed. Violet closed her eyes, inhaling a time she couldn't remember. A grounds attendant walked by. He paused at first and then curiously walked over to the driver's side window. He used one hand as a sun visor and pressed it against the glass. He tapped on the window gently. Are you okay? My mother fixed her eyes on the man's nose close to the window and focused her entire brain as best she could. When nothing registered, she yelled at me.
What does he want? Why does he want a ride? Oh, you're not picking up any of those hitchhikers, are you? He's gonna kill us if you do. You know he's gonna rob us and then he's gonna kill us.
No, Mom, relax. He's fine. He works here. He's one of the attendants.
Lock your door. Lock all your doors.
I leaned over my mother and extended an everything is okay wave to the kindly man. My mother was soundless. Outside, a water spigot poked from the ground. It leaned to one side, dripping quietly onto a grass like a whisper in a sleeping baby's room.
Where are we? Where are we going?
Mom, we're going to go see Father. We're going to go to his gravesite. Isn't that where you wanted to go?
I need to ask you a favor, but you must promise.
Okay, what is it? What do you want?
I don't want to be here. I want to go home. I want you to take me to my house, but don't tell anyone.
Okay, no problem. We can go there now if you want. Do you want me to drive? A car from behind blew its horn.
There it is. There they are. I can see it, clear as it can be. Can you see it? Your father's right over there.
My heart jumped like a bird. It was as if Lazarus himself slapped my mother in the face, bringing her back to her senses. Her mind turned the corner. Her pointing finger hit my nose and nearly slid it off my face. She had such a look about her that I almost burst out into laughing.
Your wicked father's gonna drive me crazy.
There was youth in her bones. Her spark memory drove us to the exact section where my father was entombed. She rolled the car over a partially buried curb and parked it on the grave bones of some other poor soul. My interest in following lagged a couple yards behind her pace. The smell of lilacs and fresh grass clippings comforted my nerves.
Come on now. You don't want to get lost around here, and I have a big surprise for you.
Her words followed behind as if they were breadcrumbs for me to follow. I'm right behind you. I'm right behind you. Cemetery plots were considered real estate in my mother's days. Years ago, after the Depression, it was the tiny piece of land one could afford to buy, to stand on and claim as their own holding. A plot 5 feet by 10, barely a speck of an acre, made them feel like they were property owners. They felt connected to the earth and securely grounded in ownership, owning a piece of America. But my mother had no intentions of being buried in the ground, and she planned every minute of her memorial
I
event.
want to be laid in a polished silver casket with angel heads on each corner. To put 2 huge lush flower baskets on each side, about yay tall. And don't forget the ribbon that spells out mother in gold letters. You know, like the ribbon that they use for the Miss America pageant. Choir, by the way, that one on the top of Our Father, Amazing
She
Grace,
continued
and
with hardly a space for a tiny breath.
And the procession of cars? There should be at least 58. I'd be happy if there was one more than 58, but I'm not greedy. And after Mass is all done with, and I'm put in the crypt, then you take everyone to Crystal's for lunch. And don't forget, you pay.
We walked to the marble-faced structure, about the size of 8 caskets high and 16 across. My mother and I stood side by side in front of the marbled wall, looking for my father's nameplate. I waited and watched as my mother tapped on each marble square.
1, 2, 3. Oh, here it is.
Her arms fully open like the stoned angel at the main entrance. She stepped back and took a deep breath.
This is my surprise. What do you think?
I watched her carefully. My face nervously frowned for no particular reason.
I bought all these slots in this section. Not just the 2 where your father and myself will be staying. No, I bought all of these, 10 in all.
She made it sound like she bought a family timeshare at the Caribbean islands.
You and your sisters and all your husbands will all be together. You don't have to worry about where you're going. You'll be here.
Wait, slow down. What the hell are you talking about?
Suzka, pay attention. Did you hear me? Look, there is exactly 10 slots here. Your father is in this one, rest his soul.
Violet kissed her fingers and transferred her kiss onto the cold marble marked with my father's name.
Now listen carefully, because after I die, I don't want you and your sisters to be fighting over who gets which one.
Oh, they'll be fighting. Oh, she can count on that.
I'm going to lay here right next to your father. Now, all of these others are for you girls and your husbands.
Mom, what did you do? Oh my God, you're serious. When did you do this?
Oh, I did this years ago. It was hard to keep their secrets from you girls, but I did. Now pay attention. This one is for Mira and her husband. He could be right next to her. Now little Vi will be here with her husband. Now over here on this side is where you will go. You're on the end. You'll lay right here.
Oh my God, what in the hell did she do?
Who is this? Someone moved next to your slot. The one next to you. No one told me about this.
My mother squished her nose to raise her bifocals as she leaned over to read the lettering on the neighboring marbled square. She slowly whispered his name.
Joseph D. Gregario.
Then she paused for a time. Obviously, she was rearranging her original plan. All at once, she looked at me, quite angelically.
It's a sign.
The rest of her body was stone-struck. Her eyes moved back to Joseph's plaque. She was heavy in thought, calculating the facts before her.
Look, Suzka. All these people around him have different names. Look right here. There is no place for a wife laying next to him. He's not married. Joseph D. Gregario is single.
Oh my God, please make her stop. She checked the birth dates under his name. The skies opened, the trees clapped, and a breeze brought the sweet smell of wedding jasmine and lilacs.
He's perfect, and just a few years older than you.
Violet made the sign of the cross 3 times, thanking everyone, God, Jesus, the virgins, and all the saints in heaven.
Oh, D. Gregario, that's such a nice name. A nice Italian name.
The decision was consummated.
You will be buried here. You will be right here next to Joe.